Hi everybody, today we're going to talk about creating an EdPuzzle video that can be used for a flipped lesson. It doesn't have to be used for a flipped lesson or a flipped classroom. I typically like to use them that way. This way my students can watch the video outside of class for their traditional homework, and then in class they can work on the homework assignment or the guided practice, which would give me an opportunity to answer any questions they have at the time they're completing the practice. The learning objectives for this lesson will be to create an EdPuzzle account, find an existing video to use. You could upload your own video. I'll show you how to do that. And you could edit the video to insert formative assessment questions or comments, and then finally share with your students. In order to access EdPuzzle, you go to edpuzzle.com. Once on edpuzzle.com, this is the screen you will be presented with. You have the login button at the top, but in order to create an account, we're going to create our free teacher account, clicking the blue button. Once we click the blue button, we are presented with this screen here. You can go the traditional route of entering your first name, last name, email address, and password, or what I find to be more helpful is to click the Google portion at the top, or if you have an Edmodo account. But the Google portion, if you have a Gmail account that you use for your education, for your teacher files, you can quickly access all the stuff that's in your drive. Not that you need to go this route, but I find that it's very helpful to have everything centrally located in one spot for your Google Drive. Next, you're going to be presented with this screen. It takes you through a tour. I find that this is not all that helpful. If you click skip at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, you can just go right onto the EdPuzzle homepage. Once you're logged on to EdPuzzle and you have your account created, this is kind of the central hub. You have your EdPuzzle videos. This is over here on the side. This is where other teachers who are using EdPuzzle create videos and they post them, make them public. They're free to use in your own lessons. We have YouTube videos. This is a great way to get YouTube. I know it's a great resource for teachers. It's a great way to take the videos and you can actually add assessment questions in, so the students aren't just have the task of watching a 5-minute video on whatever topic. I really enjoyed the Khan Academy videos. Khan Academy is a great resource for students for remediation or any other kind of engagement to create using technology. And then of course you have your TED Talks and other stuff on here. You can, once you log on yourself, you can play around with that. Now, the next part we're going to talk about is getting one of these videos into your content so students can view them. So let's just say I'm working on, let's see what we have here. These all look like some pretty high level stuff. Let's just type in functions. Okay, very basic math. What is a function? Perfect. So I'm going to click on this. I can watch it, preview it, but the way that I get this into my content is I click use it. And now this is the great part. This is why I love using EdPuzzle in the classroom. I can edit it. I can make it shorter. I can make it longer. And then when I come to audio track, I can talk over it. If I have something to add in, I can talk over it. I can add my own narrations. The audio notes, I can type in notes along with what they're saying on the video. But the best part here is the quizzes section. This is where you insert your assessment questions. So I'm going to do this in a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. So let's come to this part of the video. If x is odd. Okay, so we have a basic function here. If x is even, you plug it into this. If x is odd, you plug it into this. So let's say this was a question for one of my students. I click this green tab down here. Now I have the choice of an open-ended question, a multiple choice question, or this is where I can just type in a comment where students see what, if I have something to add along to the video. But let's go multiple choice question here. So I can say if x is 2, which function do I choose? So if you have no basic, let's just say the top or the bottom. Even if you have no basic math sense here, if x is 2, your input value is 2, that's an even number, you're going to plug it in here. 2 squared is 4, okay? So the top is the correct answer, the bottom is the incorrect answer. So I can denote correct or incorrect. And I really like doing this with the multiple choice questions. as opposed to the open-ended. The open-ended, it's great for feedback, but to go through and grade sometimes is a little tedious when you're watching 75 100 students videos and you're looking for very specific answers. So I typically do this as a way of when I incorporate my flipped lessons. So this is like their homework assignment. So it's just to watch the video and answer the questions, and then in class they do the guided practice. So I'm not really so much concerned with their actual formative assessment on this piece, but it is a good way to hold them accountable. What I like to do actually is if I have my iPad the next day in class and I go around to the students and I say, hey, Johnny, for this particular question, you chose the bottom and the answer should have been the top. So like, why did you choose that? What was your thinking? So it's a great piece to take back and kind of clean up some of those problem areas. But anyway, let's continue on here. So once I have my question in, you can insert as many questions as you want. I'm going to click save, and let's say I wanted to do another one here. Let's just put in what can I type in? Comment, don't forget to evaluate. That's a little comment there that they can see. So when they're watching this video, they will actually, let's kind of come up on it. So this kind of gives you the student perspective. When they're watching the video, it'll come up to about right here. It'll pause, and then the students need to choose one of these two answers in order to continue. When you get to this one where I just inserted a comment, the same letter. Now I have the don't forget to evaluate part. So then they just click continue and the video continues. So with getting this posted onto the actual, for them to see, I'm going to click save and I'm going to click finish, and it says add to class. I need to first create a class. So let's say I'm going period 1. So click period 1 and send. So now I got to add students to my class. I can add students via Google Classroom. That's typically what I use. You can have them on Twitter. You can have them just log on to the EdPuzzle and use this particular code, whichever way you find, or email address, whichever way you find most beneficial. I use the Google Classroom. This is an account that I created for the purpose of this video. So there's no, I don't have a class attached to it, but all you really got to do is click share, and I can give this, I can come over here, take this URL, I can go to tinyurl.com, compress it down into a smaller file. Let's do that. A tinyurl, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but this is kind of a subsection of the lesson that I'm going through here. All I need to do is take my URL, paste it here, and that's long, that's almost ridiculous to write on the board and have the students type that in themselves. Where here, if I type tinyurl, I can compress it down into a small file. So this right here, what I highlighted, this is something that I would just write on the board, and then students would know to go to this video, watch the questions, and get the assessment data. All right, so let's say you can't find a video that is part of the EdPuzzle database that you would like to use, or YouTube or Khan Academy. So it is possible to make your own video. That's something that I do in my classroom, where I record myself teaching using Screencastify, Screencast-O-Matic, Bandicam, any kind of screen recording software. So once you have your video that you record it, it's possible. It's really easy to upload it. We go down to upload and drag and drop your files, or choose files. So I have one that I have prepared right here. I'm going to drag it and drop it. Okay, it's going to take a minute or two, and then you go into your My Content, and this is the video that I just uploaded. It was only 15 seconds, so it didn't take all that long. If we click it, now this looks just like the screen that we just explored, where we can click edit and I can insert my own questions, and then I would save it just like I did in the previous. This is where I can add it to my class period and send it and share it with them as well. Alrighty folks, so thanks for watching my video on how to input, upload, and create your own EdPuzzle videos. I have my email address right here if you have any questions about my video. So thank you for watching.